Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Braveheart Fridays. This Friday, we're going to talk about funding your retirement. So, in the previous video, we talked about diversifying outside of your company, putting money in pension plans, and other interesting ways of getting money out of the company. And the reason why we find this so important is because business owners often get to the end of their working years and realize that they have to sell the company because they haven't diversified. So, typically, do you see that business owners have to sell for a high price when they want to retire?
Yeah, most of them do because, as you mentioned, they haven't really set aside much money outside of that company in order to fund the company. And so the sale of it's important. And by the way, the timing of the sale of that company will be really important to what they get to. So there's a bunch of issues in figuring out whether or not this is going to work well.
I think one of the biggest things that we see too is it just puts so much pressure on the business owner. So if he can't sell for the price that he needs, then he's going to have to work really long hours. He's going to have to catch up instead of if he would have planned before, started diversifying, and really understood what he needed. So why don't you talk about that, about understanding how does a business owner decide what price he needs?
Well, first of all, I guess I'd like to say that business owners don't realize how much their business really funds of their lifestyle. So many times they underestimate how much they need. So it's really important, though, for you to start with what is it that you have? How much do you have outside of your company and your net worth and how it's invested and stuff? So that's that pool of capital. Then the next thing is to determine what your company is worth. You add those two together, and then you get a certain dollar amount. When you go to sell the company, it's really important that you consider the after-tax amount that you're going to receive from the sale. Too many people look at what the company's worth and think they can get all of that money on sale.
Right.
But there's debt to reduce out of the sale, and there's also
paying the M&A firm, paying the deal lawyers.
A lot of expenses involved in all that deal. So it's real important for you to understand what you're going to get out of a sale, and then you can look at what your real need is. Because if you have a certain lifestyle you're expecting, and those two things together, the net after-tax sale amount and the assets that you already have, if those two aren't going to adequately fund your pension, then there's work to do. You want to talk about that for a second?
About your retirement, you mean?
Yeah. In the company, getting it ready.
Yeah, so let's talk about timing. When is a good time for someone to start thinking about retirement as a business owner? Because we find when we work with business owners that they don't actually start thinking about it until they're basically ready to retire. They usually come to us and give us a time frame of 2 years before they're ready to retire. So, but when would be a better time for them to start thinking about that?
When they start the company, when they buy the company, ideally, but as far in advance as you possibly can. We like to say that really good exit plans typically take 5 to 10 years to plan and execute. So you're going to leave money on the table if you pull this off in a year or two before your sale.
Well, a lot to think about, but we'll try to keep this short. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions for us or comments, you're welcome to get in touch with either of us. You can visit our Facebook page, The Braveheart Business, and we'd love for you to give us any thoughts you have about the video. Thanks.
Okay.